It's coming up to 12:18 p.m. and you're tuning in to Traxx Momentum with me, Kong Eu. How are you doing? Good afternoon to you. And you're just in time actually to catch my second interview of the day. And today we're going to be talking about living well, living right, and actually living in a holistic sense. And joining me in this discussion actually are two lovely ladies. Welcome to the studio. First of all, Yeoh, who is the chief editor, and Lucy Chan, who is the head of sales of an upcoming magazine called Bodymindsoul magazine. Ladies, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you all?
Good, thanks.
Okay. Two ladies in the house. So usually what we do is we have a little bit of an introduction. So as the listeners at home can differentiate between who is who. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do a quick round of introductions. Okay. Speaking of course, first of all, like I said, Yeoh, chief editor of the upcoming magazine. How are you, Lily?
Good, I'm great.
Okay.
I am a chief editor, as you've just mentioned, and we hope to inspire listeners and to tell them about how love, peace, and happiness can help them in their daily lives.
Nice. Yeah. And what is your background in a nutshell?
I actually work for an advertising agency, so we are actually a group of light workers and doing this hopefully in a full-time basis in future.
Okay.
Yes.
So interesting. So your background is actually in advertising.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, so that's of course Yeoh. Speaking also to Lucy Chan, head of sales of this upcoming magazine, Bodymindsoul. Welcome, and give us a bit of an introduction of yourself, Lucy.
Right. So I am the director of Golden Space Malaysia, who is the publishing company of the Bodymindsoul magazine. So what I do is I oversee the sales section of the magazine and hope that we do reach out to as many people as we aspire to.
Nice. Okay, and you're the director of the Golden Space Malaysia, Malaysia and Singapore. You've got a branch in Singapore as well. Did it start in Singapore first? You talk about the center?
Yes.
All right.
The center opened up in Singapore first by Master Umesh Nandwani.
Right.
And then when about 2 years later, he then came to Malaysia, and then we opened the Malaysian firm.
And you've been the director of the Malaysian branch, so to speak, for how long?
For about a year now.
Nice. So how has that experience been?
Wow, it's challenging, I have to say. Yeah, but it has it's grown me so much in so many areas, like in my dedication, my responsibility, and it's very different running a company versus working for another company.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, well, great stuff. Yeah, that's the voice of Lucy Chan there. Two ladies to talk about the concept of holistic living and other related issues. That's going to be a very interesting one, so make sure you keep it locked pretty much to the end of the hour. Let's talk about living a holistic lifestyle. In some of the notes you said, and some of the ideas that generally people have is living healthy means things like eating right, getting enough sleep. Usually those are the key ingredients to having a good physical health, a good physical well-being and maintenance. Now you guys talk about holistic living. Define for us, because it's one of my favorite subjects as well, but I'll leave it to you experts to talk about it. How would you define that, holistic living, Lucy?
Well, Body, Mind, Soul, or myself actually, we believe that holistic wellness is beyond physical health. Like it's beyond just eating right, it's beyond exercising and all that. It actually involves many other factors as well.
Okay.
For example, meditation. Okay, meditation to relax and to focus the awareness and the breath. Okay, that is the first easy practice to live a holistic lifestyle. Okay. And then other things such as
would you say though, Lucy, that meditation, because a lot of people or rather, some people are into it these days. I kind of am through prayers, for example, contemplation and things like that. For the uninitiated, I mean, you might think of meditation as, you got to get into a lotus position, and then you got to do breathing exercises. And is it only for relaxation? What is there a different term you can use for meditation, Lucy?
Well,
is it calming the mind, for example?
Well, to be honest with you, that there are many uses of meditation. For me particularly, I believe that for the layman and people who don't know about meditation, then it can be categorized into 3 different sections.
Okay.
The first section is meditation as a tool for focus. Because like people say, the monkey mind, right? So everyone's mind wanders, and it's said that a normal human being will have 1 million thoughts a day.
Yeah.
1 million, that's a lot. And by having this breathing exercise, a very gentle breathing exercise, and learn to focus the thought and the awareness on the breath, what this helps a person is to practice that focus and not have that many thoughts. You see, then all these negative worries all come from having excessive thoughts.
Right. Now, the awareness of the breath is very important, like you mentioned. It comes up in many different practices, right? Not just meditation per se, but just for relaxation purposes. I think many people would say, do that. Take deep breaths, and there's certain guides of how you can do it, in where the exhalation is twice as long as the inhalation. There are many methods to do it, yeah? But most people would say, many people will link it with relaxation, and taking it a step further into meditation. Now, where is that? Would you say that it is a stepping stone to people who maybe they want to meditate, but they don't know what meditation really is all about? Calming the monkey mind and reducing the wandering thoughts in our heads, of course, is what we want to do, but it's how do you get people started? It has to start from being aware of the breath.
Correct.
That's the best way.
So that's the first and easiest way.
Right.
But to backtrack a little bit, actually meditation, it doesn't mean that you just have to sit there in a lotus position and sit there for an hour a day or 15 minutes a day and consider that as meditation. Meditation could be something as beautiful as cooking for your family, or
I like that.
Driving.
Yeah.
Or for me, maybe singing, for example. Right? And it's really just being 100% present and focused in this present moment and living life moment by moment. Like how Eckhart Tolle said, the power of now.
Okay, so would you say then, in your definition, meditation is being aware of the now, being present?
Yes.
In whatever circumstance you might be.
Yes.
Usually when you're doing something that's repetitive, a bit monotonous, like driving, like you said. Okay, so as long as you're aware of what?
You driving. I mean, even a monotonous thing can be very enlightening. For example, I could be driving my car in a jam, and to get myself in the present, I just observe myself. I listen to the music that's on the radio. I feel the steering wheel, and I feel the rev of the motor when I accelerate. That's what I focus on.
Right.
And as I drive, I suddenly notice maybe the sun shines in a beautiful way, and like, wow, that's amazing. So it's really being aware of the surroundings and of myself. It is during these quiet moments that certain enlightenments or how you say it, thoughts would come in.
Right. Awareness
of maybe a solution to a problem you've been trying to find for a while.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. You're taking the definition of meditation out of just being in a quiet room, being still and everything. But I guess in that classic quote unquote way of meditation, it is putting yourself in an environment where you get rid of distractions. That's why that is suggested.
Yes, correct.
Right.
So the easiest way is just to find a quiet place, and the first tool, like I said, just to focus, practice just all your awareness, 100% of your awareness on the breath you take in and out. Do not control it, just be aware of your breathing.
Right.
That's it.
Okay, makes a lot of sense, yeah. Thank you for the definition of meditation. But here's the thing, why is it important for us to be aware and to meditate? I'm also speaking to Yeoh Lee, who is the chief editor of the upcoming magazine Body, Mind, Soul. Do you have anything to add to that?
For me, meditation is also, as Lucy mentioned, it is to sometimes find problems or solve an issue that we've been having. Say if you're looking for an answer on why this relationship of mine is having these ups and downs and things like that. So when we have a question intent out during a meditation, looking to solve a problem, that is when we sit down and focus and just be aware of our breath while sending that intention out of how do I look into myself, why this problem arises.
So you actually physically, in a way, well, not physically, excuse me, you throw the question out.
Yes, we set an intent during a meditation. Say, I want to solve this problem. What is it that I don't see that I need to improve with myself, so that I can solve the problem at hand.
Right.
Yeah.
So
with that clear mind, sometimes we always have that spark of an idea of how we can solve that problem, and that usually comes from our heart.
Right.
And that is the actual answers that should be. But most of the time, our ego mind comes into play, and we tell ourselves, maybe this is not right, but how can that happen? You know, we start questioning ourselves.
Okay.
So that's where we should be aware of our ego mind, not letting it into play, but just focus on what our heart feels about the situation.
So meditation in a nutshell helps us relax, that's one. And second, find solutions to predicaments and problems.
Correct.
There we have. Okay, great stuff. So that's one key part of holistic living. What else? I mean, what else falls under that category? Yes, Lucy.
Knowing how to let go of negative emotions. That is another key part of having a holistic lifestyle.
Okay. Letting go of negative emotions that come up, from in general, or?
Yes, in general, because perhaps through the media and through everything that we've been fed it to over the past our whole entire life, right? It's been ingrained into our system to be a bit more negative, because it is known that the news is a little bit more on the negative side, right? So being bombarded with these every day, and then when we go into work, or someone in office somehow finds a trigger point and somehow gets us angry, right? Most of us will just keep that anger in. Some would suppress it and keep it within the body.
Right.
Some people would lash it out and to hurt another person. Right. So it could go both ways. And either way is not good for us, physically or emotionally as well. So a key part of having a holistic lifestyle is actually knowing how to let go of these emotions that do not do us any good.
Okay. And what are the methods? Share with us some of these methods to let go of negative emotions.
Well, for me, the first one is to feel. A lot of us shut the emotions out because we're taught or told by everyone that it's not good to be angry, it's not good to be sad. So we keep it in, right?
Yes.
So we don't really feel it through. So what I can advise as a tip to our listeners is to first sit and just feel the emotions and let it flow. By not stopping it, by not suppressing it or letting it out, lashing it to people, you would just allow the emotions to go through within the body. And after a while of that allowing, you accept. And through accepting the emotions, most of the emotions would go away gently on its own.
On its own.
On its
but
own.
you gotta feel it. You gotta let it. You gotta go through the process of feeling it. Now, when it comes to grief and depression and things like that, and feeling it, a good cry would probably be a way to do it.
Yes.
Right? Whether it's, regardless of the gender, it's male or female, just cry, right?
Don't cry in installments.
Don't cry in installments. Okay, wow, I like that. Just let it all out.
Yes.
But how do you get rid of a feeling like anger without lashing out at something? It could be a physical object. Is that all right to lash out on say, a punching bag?
Yes.
A real one, I mean?
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, whether you can be punching a pillow,
Lily. Yep.
or you can be screaming out loud in the inside of a car, of course, and not in the open space and scare everybody out.
Right.
Yeah. Or we can just talk it out. Let our emotions out.
Yeah.
If we have to talk to ourselves in front of the mirror, do that. But most importantly, let it out.
Right. But the problem is talking, a lot of people like to talk about it to other people, right? And hence, in a way, I think negatively influencing the other person, isn't it? You hear that, I tell you, for us who live in the urban areas, you see it at the cafes all the time. Did you notice that? You go into all the cafes and if you just kind of eavesdrop a little bit at people's conversation, it's always people complaining about work.
Or gossiping.
Or gossiping about people, isn't it?
Well, for me,
Okay.
I would be looking for a friend who I know can inspire me, can show me the way.
Right.
Yeah, rather than to get somebody who is also very negative and pull me down further. So that's most important. So you seek out a friend who you feel is a very positive friend who can help you out at that moment and pull you up.
And who can handle it, I guess, yeah?
Yes, and can look at it from a very holistic or spiritual way of situation.
Somewhat positive.
Yes.
Great. I'm speaking to the two ladies right now, Yeoh Lily and Lucy Chan, about holistic living and much, much more right here on Traxx Momentum. Going for a quick music break. On return, much more with these ladies coming up in a while. In the meantime, hang tight. Good afternoon to you. You're tuning in to Traxx Momentum. That's a gorgeous one, huh? Corinne Bailey Ray there, Put Your Records On. Great song to listen to, and a very positive vibe also. And of course, I've been speaking positively in good vibes with two lovely ladies, Yeoh Lily, who is the chief editor, and Lucy Chan, head of sales of an upcoming magazine called Body, Mind, Soul. Yeah, a little bit more details on the magazine before we wrap the interview. But in the meantime, we've been talking about guides to holistic living, and in summary, holistic living, as I sometimes talk about, either through my musings on air or through guests with special guests like you all, it's all about going beyond living well physically. Things like eating well, eating a well-balanced diet, which is very important, and getting enough sleep and rest and exercise. But having said that, before we go into the further concept of holistic living here, do you think that's a precursor? I want to ask you ladies, do you think a precursor to a fundamental or the most important thing towards holistic living is good health?
Yes.
Yes?
Definitely.
So priority has to be given to eating right, getting enough sleep, right? And that getting enough rest.
Well, holistic wellness can be summarized as to holistic wellness in your body,
okay,
in your mind,
right,
in your heart, and your soul.
Okay.
So there are 3 stages. A lot of people say body, mind, spirit. We say body, mind, soul.
Right.
If we don't care, if we don't practice physical care of our body,
okay,
which is the base of our life here on earth, how can we then start taking care of our heart, our mind, and our soul?
Right.
And therefore, above that.
Okay,
spirit.
but does that mean that the physical component has to be there? If not, you're not living holistically. Because there are people who are very unfit, that we do see around us, as, you know, maybe direct friends or acquaintances, things like that. And I'm sure a lot of many people who also end up seeking assistance in meditation centers, in spaces such as yours, the one that you manage, Lucy, are also actually physically unfit.
Correct.
Right.
You see, a lot of healers, or even some people who practice holistic living or holistic lifestyle, or meditate, they are also physically unfit.
Right.
Right. This is not a no-no for us to ascend in our consciousness.
Development.
In our development.
Okay.
But it's really that it will become a factor in making it slower. You see, so if we are physically unfit, then we are unable to do certain things, and therefore it'll affect somehow. Body being unfit or unwell will affect our psyche. It will affect our feelings and our emotions eventually, because your back would ache. A few friends of mine have back aches or headaches all the time. They can't sleep.
Right.
At the end of the day, it will affect them one way or another.
Right, and we hear a lot about, perhaps maybe a topic for the future, about how the physicality of the body is indicative of inner issues, yeah?
Yes.
And the signs and manifestations of how a person is troubled inside, isn't it?
Yes, yes. We do believe that, you see, if let's say my knee hurts all the time,
right,
and I always injure my knee, and I trip over things, and it's always my left knee. People say, why is it always my left knee?
Right.
Maybe it's a sign inward in my emotions or in my soul that I'm unwilling to move forward in my life. So it's just an indication of physical manifestation of an emotional state.
I see. Interesting stuff, yeah? Interesting point also. But let's get back to holistic living. What other components you think very important for us to achieve that balance? Yeah, we talk about a balance of having a healthy body, mind and spirit, but what else? Yes. Lily or Lucy, yes, go ahead.
Be grateful. Having an attitude of gratitude.
Attitude of gratitude.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Explain a little bit more. Yeah.
It's when we focus on expands. In short, if we focus more on the negatives, on the worry, then that negative or that worry will expand, and that's all we see. So by starting small, everyone can learn how to be grateful for the small things in life. You know, maybe because I'm grateful because I have a job. I am grateful because I'm alive. I'm grateful because I have my cup of coffee early in the morning.
Right.
And all these smaller actions of being grateful actually contributes to that expansion of that positivity. You see? So it does lead to a holistic lifestyle as well.
What about there are people, the little conversation we had over the song break just now about how some people prefer to act negatively in terms of, maybe complaining and maybe gossiping about other people, because it seems like a fun thing, a funner thing to do compared to being, like a do-gooder or goody-goody two-shoes. Well, what's your opinion on that, Lily? Share with us.
I feel that every time we speak negatively about someone else, it's actually a reflection of ourselves. Yeah. If we say that person is selfish because so and so and such, right. We are actually judging that person, based on how we feel about ourselves, and that is something that we should be looking into inward. But
all the time, Lily, you think?
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah, because what we judge about ourselves is how we judge about others as well. Yeah.
So
otherwise,
we may not be aware of us judging ourselves negatively, but it definitely shows in the way we judge other people.
Correct. Yes. If we do not see that in that person, it's because we know the bigger picture of the situation, and we realize that this person is going through this particular issues or problems in life because there's a bigger lesson to learn, a bigger picture to look at, a life lesson to be learned. So if we understand that, we wouldn't be judging that person. By judging that person, we are actually judging ourselves.
Right. Wow. That's actually quite profound there. And I'm speaking to Lucy as well as Lily on all things holistic as well. We're going to take a quick break from this interview. I'm going to check in with my buddy Azmil Reza because he's busy preparing to bring us the 1 p.m. main news bulletin. Going to check in with him to see what it is going to be like. A little bit of a preview coming up in just 30 seconds. 12:47 p.m. on the clock right here on Traxx Momentum. Time for me to check in with Azmil Reza. Azmil.
Hi, Kong Eu. How are you?
Or Reza, rather.
Yeah, Reza.
It's so
Reza
cool. You've got two names. Okay, thanks for the preview, man.
Okay, welcome.
All right, make sure you tune in to the full bulletin right at 1 p.m. Yeah, keep it locked right here on Traxx.
Unwind from the traffic in Kuala Lumpur.
Feast your ears to soothing music on your favorite station.
Traxx FM 90.3 Kuala Lumpur.
That's right. In this hour, I've been chatting to Lucy Chan and Yeoh Lily from Body, Mind, Soul magazine. Okay, we're talking about holistic living. Great stuff, great tips so far. What else? Yeah, since we're on the topic, how can one live a better, more balanced life? Lucy?
Live passionately. I stand by what I say, which is passion is all. All we do in life, you see. It's not enough to just do a job day in and day out. It fulfills, it pays the bills.
Right.
It helps somehow, but it's not enough. You see, what's more than that is to really follow your passion, follow your heart, and that will never really lead us anywhere wrong. You know. Yeah.
Now, what do you say? Maybe you have experience to share with us, because I have, but maybe not today, from my perspective. and listeners have heard it off and on anyway. When I'm kind of on topic about that. Some people say that it's so many people have said about living passionately, and there are people who have tried it but it doesn't quite work. I mean, what's your take on that? I mean, people say maybe you should have passions in your life, but it doesn't have to be your career, for example.
Yeah, it could be taking care of your kids. That could be a passion. Like I said earlier about meditation, it's really about putting the 100% of your soul, of your beingness into that one moment. That's a precursor to living your life passionately, is being there, geared up, and you are doing something that is beyond yourself, like taking care of your children. That is something beautiful.
So it doesn't always have to be a money-making related activity when it comes to exercising one's passion.
Yes, but for me, it is about career.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think it works for everyone though, or because there are many people? People have written articles on all these issues with
on the internet.
Yeah, a life hack or whatever it might be. Yeah, they talk about how people have been talking about living passionately and making that passion their career, but sometimes it's not realistic, or sometimes a person can generate wealth and income from something that they're not passionate about. But as long as they're exercising their passion and creativity in some areas. Not necessarily income generating, that's still okay.
Yes, it will spill over the sort of positive passion and that energy. If you practice it as a hobby, it can eventually, it will spill over to the other areas of your life, and it will show. Perhaps in your job, then you become happier, you become lighter, you become more driven.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have to make it a career, on that sense. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, that's good. That's good to know, yeah, because there's been lots of debates. I went through the same process myself, where I was talking about, you don't have to think so much about income all the time. As long as you follow your passion, you'll be fine. And then coming to balance things out, which is my current state of my life, I guess, in a nutshell. Just a little bit more on holistic living. How much is reconnecting back with nature? How important is that? We hear that a lot, when it comes to having a well-balanced, holistic lifestyle. What's your opinion, Lily?
Okay, connecting back to nature. Many religions or even spiritual beliefs talk about connecting back to earth, being in nature. It actually makes us feel at home, feel safe, secure. The nature actually allows us to draw positive vibes, from the grass, the soil, the trees. The people. There are people who believes in tree hugging. There are people who believe that grounding helps to heal our body. Yeah. So connecting back to nature sometimes makes us feel like feel at peace. Going back within, being in oneness with nature.
Right. Because we are part of nature.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Okay.
And then from there, we will realize, even if we sit down and meditate in nature, sometimes we will feel that oneness, that we are part of everything and everything is part of us. And we will, animals, plants, everything in life is there to support us, support our life, and we should not be doing anything negative with it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And what are the signs? Yeah. I mean, when a person tries to do that, or it could be a holiday, a getaway that is nature related. Yeah. How do you know that? Oh yeah, this is the moment where I feel that I am somewhat connected back. What are a couple of the signs?
Basically, even if we go back to nature, we actually feel recharged in a sense. If you're going to the beach,
you feel more energetic.
Correct. Negative ions are actually everywhere in nature, whether it's a waterfall or on a beach or even in nature. And those negative ions actually charges back our body.
Even though they are called negative ions.
Yeah, called negative ions, but they're actually very positive for our bodies.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you feel one sign is you feel more energetic, and that's probably why a simple way of explaining why a holiday can do a body good, lah.
Yeah, and even growing trees at home or growing plants at home, just having the plants around in your room or your office actually creates a lot of negative ions, enough to just live by healthily. Because living in a city, the city has virtually 0 to 100 negative ions, and it's really very low on the scale.
Okay.
But if you go to somewhere like Niagara Falls, it's the highest there. It's like 100,000, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow. Okay.
And if you go back to the forest, it's maybe 10,000 in count. So just going back there and sitting in a negative ion, that field, it recharges your soul, like how Lily said.
Okay. And one of the things that we were talking about, having to kind of wrap up the interview, that when we were discussing about this interview, was that you felt that there's too much negative media. Yeah. What's your take on that, Lucy?
Yes, I do believe that there is too much negative media around, and just opening the newspaper, any newspaper will do, and the first thing I see, it's just someone died, someone got stabbed, there's a car crash, there's a fire, there's a war, because people out of habit don't really report good news. as much, and bad news is sensationalized. It's easy to sell. Bad news sells. Everybody knows that, right? And from young, when we were born, we've already been bombarded with this kind of energy,
Right.
and it's sort of news, and it's been ingrained into our body, into our mind, that it's okay to be negative. And that's why, like you said just now, in the cafes, people complain a little bit too much,
Right.
because it is a habit, right? And on the opposite, good news, like our magazine, the Body, Mind, Soul magazine, is really about, showing people that there's another side to life. There is positivity in every single bad experience,
Even in seemingly bad experiences,
right.
Right.
It could bring people together. Like my mom had, telling the story about myself,
Sure.
is that my mom had breast cancer 2 years ago, and it was very devastating to all of us. But what I learned was that it brought us closer as a family, and we could feel all the kind of love and appreciation towards my mother,
Right.
and our family unit became closer, and whatever wrongs we did to each other, we forgave, and we are learning through it.
Right.
So there's something beautiful that came out of it, and she's happy and she's healthy now.
That's great.
So it's okay. Bad things happen for a reason.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well said there. Lily, tell us a bit about Body, Mind, Soul. When is it coming out? What is its major contents in a nutshell?
Okay. Basically, the Body, Mind, Soul magazine is categorized into 3 main components, which is Body, Mind, Soul.
Okay.
And this magazine will be launched on the 7th of July in all major bookstores in Klang Valley.
Right.
I must say that the birth of this magazine actually came about from an idea, message to a light worker. Yeah. And from this
Message idea.
Yeah. A team of us light workers decided that we should shine a light to this world, showing, giving readers hope in every darkness that they feel they have. Yeah.
Well, great stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And spreading love, peace, and happiness.
Okay.
And that we all can have this within our lives.
Nice. Content-wise, anything that differentiates the content? I mean, obviously it's going to be filled with
Good news.
learning
Happy news.
experiences.
Yes, that's right.
Are there unusual or unique formats?
We don't focus on the illness, or perhaps some magazines, they talk about cancer and they show little signs and symptoms of
Right.
it, and they try to freak people out, right? So we don't dwell on that. So when you pick up the book and the magazine, all you see is happy things, good things, how to learn from mistakes. Like my article is you create your reality. Okay, that every thought and every intention counts. Right? The unique things like that are not found in any form of printed media.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially when it comes to magazines, so you have to see it. We see it in there is a local publication that deals with a related topic, feng shui, that you see some of these related articles. So I guess, but this is the first time where you have a magazine dedicated especially for that, yeah?
Yes, we also have an article called Harmonizing the Energy of Your Home, right? And that's really about how to not just use feng shui to speak, but how to clean the home.
I see.
Energetically, a lot of energies are stuck in the home, and what we do is, in the article, one of our featured writers, Alison Simon, she talks about how to clean the space, how to make it lively and healthy for everyone living there.
Interesting concept, yeah.
Yes.
All right, well, we got to wrap up the interview. Any last messages for us today, Lily?
I hope that all of you picks up a magazine of Body, Mind, Soul on 7th of July onwards, and hope to be inspired by our love, peace, and happiness.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies. And that's going to be the magazine Body, Mind, Soul. It's going to be available at all pretty much major
bookstores.
So that's good news. You did a hunt for it.
Yes.
It'll be sitting there. Just have to look a little bit. And thank you so much to Yeoh Lily, the chief editor, as well as Lucy Chan, the head of sales of this magazine. Is going to be released on 7th of July. That's very soon.
Yes, soon, next week.
Well, congratulations to you.
Okay, thanks, Kong Eu.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on. And in the meantime, well, we've got news coming up with Asma Reza.